it started out with just like a curiosity for me. The world really says like you're not supposed to be doing this at this age, but is that real? It's not like, oh, I want one more medal. It's at 40, like, where's the limit? And it doesn't scare me that it may not work out. The sport that I love is just not everything. Like when you're watching your child fight in a NICU, that's the furthest thing in your mind. It made me realize like, okay, everything is not about my job. I got another silver medal. It was just like, I was devastated. I was embarrassed. I'm supposed to be this phenom and I didn't deliver. And I remember just like wanting to disappear. When it's the loss, that's when there's noise around it, but it's like, you won, okay, yeah, you were supposed to win. You're robbed of that joy when you're so devastated or paralyzed by the failures. What I want to teach my kids is the failure is inevitable. Like you're gonna experience it, but it's like, what can you learn from it? A couple months before, like updating my will, making sure that everything was in line and having conversations with my husband about, okay, if this does go this way, because that's the reality for Black women. We don't get to have that joy that everybody gets to have in pregnancy. I know that if I wasn't here, my kids have an incredible father. All of these real life things brought me to understanding like, my voice has power.
Hold up. Limitless, take a stomach, got a pin in it. I fought the head to witness it. Got my people feeling militant. Way I'm feeling got me up. On the mission got me up. Knowing me, I got the key. On the vision, I can trust. Limitless, take a stomach, got a pin in it. I fought the head to witness it. Got my people feeling militant.
Hey, we got real fast.
Oh, Lord, look at that. She likes it.
How are you?
How you doing?
Run up on us now.
Legend, it is such a pleasure. That's such a pleasure.
How are you?
Oh, my
I'm
goodness.
such a fan of the show.
Thank you so much.
I don't think you're a fan, Allyson.
I am. I
Allyson
love
Felix,
what you
first of all,
guys.
welcome to the show.
Thank
the
you.
most decorated
Thanks for
track
having me.
athlete in Olympic history. But when we started this show in 22, right, I was like, okay, who are athletes like I really want to get on the show?
Okay, yeah.
Right? And I was like, ooh, I'm gonna follow Allyson Felix. I'm gonna DM her and ask her could she come on the show. And like most men that have been rejected in DM, I unsent it. Cause I was like, I am not gonna let this. I am not gonna let this linger for years.
He's a stalker.
I missed it.
No, welcome to the show. It truly
Thank
is
you.
an honor to have you. You know, we played team sports.
Yeah.
First off, team sports that don't get to represent their country. So what you have accomplished, just on an individual level, and what it's meant to me to see a Black woman shine in the way that you do, and now advocate the way that you do for so many different causes and represent women so well, yourself so well, your family. It truly has been an honor to watch your journey.
Thank you.
But, you know, how old are you?
43.
You know how
Old
old
are
I
you?
am.
57.
I'm 46.
I'm 50, bro. Why you keep doing this in front of people?
Allyson, when I get up, everything hurts. Right? And I ain't ran a 200 as fast as you. I ain't ran a 400 as fast as you. I ain't been on no relays. Why do you feel that it's time for you to come back?
Yeah, you know, it's been this process of just like, I don't know, this question that I've been asking myself about like what's possible kind of started with just like something I wanted to know. Like at this age, like, would it be possible if I could make the team? And it was like this just personal thing. And I thought maybe I would like explore it just, you know, like privately. And then I started talking to a few other people and they were like, I think a lot of other people are like at that place at this age. And it would be really cool if you actually did it in real time and like documented it and brought people in. So it started out with just like a curiosity for me of like, okay, the world really says like, you're not supposed to be doing this at this age. But is that real, or is that just because we've been told that? So just like this desire to like explore it.
But you can't accomplish anymore.
But yeah,
Boy, what else do you have to do? Listen, I went on Wikipedia and saw, I couldn't even read all the medals you got. I'm like, what one more little click on Wikipedia?
Yeah, it's really, you know, the thing is, it's not about, like, that's not what's driving me. Like, I don't actually feel like, it's not like, oh, I want one more medal. It's really not that. It's less about performance and more of like, okay, at 40, like, where's the limit? I feel like in track and field, especially like in more of the sprints, like no one has really like explored that too much. And so I want to see.
Well, I got one question and I got one issue. First of all, everybody that got their own shoe brought us some shoes. So,
you know what?
Freddie T, that is true.
I'm just saying.
We do not
You
have
guys are a
people
little
show
bit
up.
outside of our size range.
For real?
So when we
I squeezed
expand,
into a 9.
I got you.
Yeah, nah, just messing around. But no, truthfully, are taking peptides in track illegal?
You know, I don't even know anything about
Because that
peptides. I'm
helped me
like,
bounce back. Like, I thought I was good to go,
Yeah.
and then I tweaked my hamstring because I tried to sprint. But I just turned 50. Like, you're not quite there. So in your comeback, though, would it be like the sprint, or more of like a quarter? Is it all sprint?
yeah, what I would love to be able to do is to make the relay pool for like the mixed 4x4. So yeah, like I still consider that a sprint. And it's interesting because like in my career, I was so like paranoid about, you know, all of the testing, and I like wouldn't even take vitamins. But I think I err so far on the side of caution that like now I'm like, that was like silly. Like, you know, there are things that like your body needs to be replenished with. And so like, I'm excited to explore like, you know, what's within the rules.
Correct.
Yeah, at this age, like I'm gonna need to make sure that I'm ready to go.
You know, Allyson, 5 different games, right? You medaled from lane 9, right? In your last Olympics in Tokyo in 2021. I mean, you have accomplished things that, you know, you're speaking about doing something different in track at this age. You've accomplished things that no one has accomplished. And we're speaking of the Usain Bolts of the world, the Carl Lewises. And so now you put yourself in this position to where you will be open to failure. How much does putting yourself out there, being able to go home and talk to Cameron about, hey, look, sometimes you're gonna have to put yourself out there where it's possible that you could fail, but it's about the way you approach it. It's about the effort you put into it, and being able to show your daughter that there are things that you can accomplish through will that people say that should be improbable.
It's super interesting because like the approach that I'm taking, I guess, is that like there really isn't the possibility to fail because to me, like the courage in this is trying. And it's about the process and the journey. And for me, it took a lot of work to get to this place because like when I retired, I was not there. But I can say like I have a sense of peace where, you know, the failure, it's not tied to the outcome. It's because this is like what's possible, what's humanly possible, like an experiment, you know? So it's not like, oh, this is only successful if I make the team. It's successful just because I'm doing it. So I'm excited to teach my kids that. Like, yeah, you can go after something and your success doesn't have to be defined to the outcome of it. It can simply be in just like going for it.
How hard is that though when your outcomes are always so good? You know, like no, like I'm trying to wrap my head around it because I've never been that good at anything or as good at anything as you are
100%.
at track. Shut up. You know, and to really even in your last Olympics to accomplish something that was so difficult.
Yeah.
And to be able to do that and to be such a high achiever. You know, Nick Saban says that, you know, high achievers shun mediocrity, right? How have you been able to adjust your mindset from what it had to be to achieve what you've achieved since you were 18 years old to being able to put yourself in a position where I can go attempt to do this and simply putting my all into attempting will be enough? Yeah,
I think it's, you know, I've left the sport really fulfilled. Like I'm really happy with all the things that I was able to do. And I think it's just like doing the work of like the identity work, like all of that stuff. Like I think if I was coming into this with that need to get something that is going to like help my legacy, like this wouldn't be the move because I'm not that athlete that I was, you know, I'm not in my peak and I have no like illusions about that because that's not what I'm trying to do. I'm not trying to go back. I'm trying to see what can I do at this stage in life. And so I think because I'm coming at it from that angle, it's just different, you know?
Unlike him, me and you were kind of on the same level at some
Why?
point.
Because what you ran in hurdles?
Huh?
Because you so good at
14.6, 110 hurdles.
Trash. Trash and shit. Garbage.
14.57. No, interesting with a mother athlete because men can have a baby, but we don't give
we can't.
birth to a baby. We can have a child.
Yes.
But as a female athlete, like you hear about it, Serena, the whole thing with her coming back and winning. Like what does it really do to your body? I know it's hard, and we know that it's difficult.
Yeah.
You know, and you can't train like you want to because you're.
Yeah.
But like, is it core? What is that thing that until recently female athletes weren't able to bounce back and be at their prime like you were able to do once you do give birth to a child?
I think it's really like how you're supported coming back from pregnancy. Like when I was pregnant with my daughter, I was not supported. You know, I had to hide my pregnancy, like do all these things. And I think now the culture has shifted. You know, sponsors are telling the full story. They're celebrating, you know, female athletes who have children. And I think when those systems change, you're able to like, okay, this can be a part of my career instead of I'm gonna have to wait until the very end and, you know, and really have, you know, like a hardship in coming back. So I think that things have gotten better. There's like still more we can do, but it is a different time for sure.
But does it change? Like, does it change you physically?
Physically? Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think it depends on your situation. I had an emergency C-section. Like, I thought I was gonna just come right back, and it was very humbling. Like, just doing drills, like, you know, months after I had my daughter, it was hard. Yes, the core, the things that you just are just natural, like take more effort. And it took, I would say, about 1.5 years before I even started feeling like myself again. Wow. But I think now athletes are having children younger, you know, and just things are, changing.
Even then, motherhood changed you completely, as it does with all women.
Yeah.
But you had complications, as you just mentioned.
Yeah.
You know, what perspective did it give you on life that track didn't?
Yeah, I had life-threatening, severe preeclampsia. My daughter was in the NICU for a month. And, you know, before that, I think I just really took my health for granted. You know, being an athlete, you know, we all depend on our body and it performs. And so to get in that position, I just never imagined myself there. And I just learned, you know, that I was strong. I learned that I could overcome. And also the perspective of that, you know, the sport that I love is just not everything. Mm-hmm. Like when you're watching your child fight in a NICU, you know, that's the furthest thing in your mind. And so I think it just made me realize like, okay, everything is not, you know, about my job.
Yeah. You had 32 weeks, it's 8 weeks too early. And, you know, you realize that you have to now be rushed to an emergency C-section. There's a mental and emotional toll on that, on what you went through physically, on watching your baby fight for her life as well. You told us how long it took your body to come back, to be able to do drills and different things. How long did it take you to recover emotionally and mentally as well?
I mean, I think that's a trauma that just stays with you. Like now, even if I go to a hospital or I go and visit like, you know, a NICU floor and I hear those monitors beeping, like it immediately just takes me back. I remember countless nights sitting in my daughter's NICU room and she would have bradycardia, which is their heart like almost stopping. And so the monitors would go off and a nurse would rush in and they would, you know, rub her chest and I don't think it ever goes away. You know, you can immediately be transported back. So, I mean, it changed my whole mindset just about maternal health and just the reality for Black women in America. So, yeah, I don't think I've recovered, you know? It's just something that feels like now is like a part of me. I'm grateful that my family has healed, but still, it's, I don't think it goes away.
We had a chance to talk to Alexis Ohanian. And he was sort of giving us what he learned from Serena's childbirth. And just saying that if he wasn't married to a Black woman, he wouldn't understand that these things actually exist.
Yeah.
And I do believe even in myself, being married to a Black woman as they are as well, you still can't put yourself in those shoes, right? This is the life you've lived. You've seen it firsthand. And you know, I'm talking about Serena Williams, in my opinion, the greatest female tennis player of all time. And we truly have, you look at the accolades, the greatest Olympic track athlete of all time. And both of you went through that in this country.
Yeah.
How did that influence you to continue to advocate for Black women in these situations and knowing that it could happen to you as well?
Yeah, I mean, it just shifted everything. I mean, I had a teammate die, and we're talking about like present day. Like, this is not getting better. And like you said, it doesn't discriminate. And so for me, it was just like, okay, how do I be a part of solutions? How do I raise awareness? And it just became a passion of my heart. And so, doing work in that space and figuring out, how can we turn this around? It's been just a huge part of my life now.
And the work you've done with the Olympic Village, right? With Pampers, can you speak to that as well? And how did that come about?
Yeah, in Paris, I was able to bring a nursery to the Olympic Village. It was incredible. I thought, it was a big idea. When I came back from my birth with my daughter, that first year back, she came to all my competitions with me. And it was really hard. It was like nothing was set up, to have a baby like on the circuit. And I was like, this is hard for no reason. It's hard just like in a way that you're staying in a hotel, like washing bottles, like doing all the things. Like, it doesn't really need to be this challenging. And so I brought the idea before the International Olympic Committee, and they were really receptive to it, and we were able to put it in motion. But I think it's just things like that, like being able to say, okay, this is my experience. Like, how do we make it better for, the next wave of athletes that are coming up?
I guess that also has to make so many of those women feel seen as well. Like, we wouldn't understand what that's like to be preparing to compete. You have your child with you, and like you said, you have to focus on that as well while trying to be the best athlete or one of the best athletes in the world, and the difficulty that could bring. Because of you, Nike made changes to the way that they approached women who were pregnant and giving birth. How much pride do you take in the influence taking a stand made? Because you had to put yourself out there as an individual and say, okay, I'm going to stand on this versus one of the largest companies in sports.
I'm most proud of that, like in all my career. But it was terrifying, like I'm shy, I'm an introvert. So like, doing anything like that, I couldn't even like wrap my head around it. But it was just, I felt like I had to, So many women coming before me had been through the same thing. They were under NDAs, and I remember sitting after going through this whole, battle internally, asking for the maternal protections, them telling me that I could have it, but not all female athletes. And then the final straw, they asked me to be a part of this, it was a Women's World Cup, like, commercial. And we had just got home from the NICU. I'm in my daughter's nursery, and we're having this internal battle, and then they're asking me to be a part of this campaign that says you can do anything. It was just like, this is just not happening. And I just felt like I had to, to say something. And I'm really glad, that I was able to, but I think it was becoming a mother that gave me like that little bit of courage to say like, okay, you got to do this.
I love it.
Do they try to scare female athletes before? Now we're moving forward, but before, would they try to scare you out of not getting pregnant because it's going to ruin your career? It's going to, like you said, keeping it secret and all that stuff?
Yeah, well, it was, the contracts were being paused. You become pregnant, you wouldn't be able to get a new contract. So all this was happening like in the shadows. And so I would see teammates that I had like disappear for a while and then like come back and really struggle through motherhood. And I was really young, like when that started, so I didn't really get what that was. And then as I became older, it was always like rumblings that were being talked about, but no one would outright say it. Everybody was under NDAs. And so everybody knew like, okay, if you're gonna have a baby, have it in the off year, and then you have to be right back. Because if you don't come back and you're not top 3 in the world, or you don't make an Olympic team or world championship team, you would get a reduction. And so women would have children and their salary would be reduced to the point where they're not making anything. And so they're pushed out of the sport. And it was just happening like over and over. And so when, it came to me, I just felt like, okay, if I'm in this same position, like who is ever going to change anything? Yeah. And it just became like something much bigger than just my own situation.
Allyson, were you always dominant, like before you won silver at 18? Coming up, did you win all your races?
I started late, so I started in high school. I knew I was fast. I didn't win everything, but I did okay.
Yeah. So the pressure that comes along with winning silver at 18 and being crowned the new face of women's track, what type of pressure was that?
It was a lot. I mean, the first Olympics, yeah, there weren't any expectations. I was 18 and it was, it was all amazing. And then the second Olympics, that's when I felt it. And I was 22 and I was still like figuring out all the life things. Like I remember, when I went back to the Olympics, my best friend was getting married. I was a maid of honor, so I was figuring out how to show up there. My boyfriend, his dad died. I was, trying to be present at the funeral. I was graduating from college, so, I'm trying to walk and graduate. Like I was trying to do everything and I just felt that weight. And so did that second Olympics. I was the favorite, there's expectations. And then I got another silver medal and it was just like, I was devastated. I was embarrassed. I was like, I'm supposed to be this phenom and like I didn't deliver. And I remember just like wanting to disappear. And now looking back, like I'm really grateful because I think that was like a shift for me. Like going through that allowed me to be successful later. But yeah, it taught me how to, like what works for me to handle pressure.
How much did you celebrate the wins? Because I always, like for us, it's easy, Allyson. We play the game, we look at the scoreboard. Oh, look, I won.
Yeah.
Right? As someone who is not fast, you'd have gave me any medal. I'd have been like, I'm the fastest person. You give me bronze, you can make up another one after bronze. I'm gonna be fired up about that one. But for you to hear you say, I won a silver and I was embarrassed, right? Which means at that point, you're still one of the best in the world at what you do. Did the pressure ever take away the enjoyment of the sport?
I think I confused it with like my worth. Like, I think it was so like wrapped up where, you win a gold medal and like life is good and I'm happy and you don't and I'm sad. Like it was so directly related to my mood and how I was doing for a good portion of my career. And that was hard, to figure out like, okay, that's not what it really is, but everything is telling you that it is because your success, like your career path is so tied to your results. And so it's hard to like decipher that. So I really struggled early on for sure.
You really lived your life like Ricky Bobby. If you're not first, you last.
RC, I'm about to say, he's told us before because he went to a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And he won a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
But we've talked, you went to two, and we've talked to a number of, thank you. Got a deep voice. We've talked to a number of people that he said he would rather have not went to the Super Bowl and came in second. You said silver upset you.
Yeah.
You're the second fastest person in the world at this, and that upset you.
Yeah, because when your focus is only on the gold, like that's the failure, right? Like it's the only way to win is to get the gold, and it's like you're missing it if not. And you asked about like celebrating the wins. I felt like there comes to a place where the win is expected, and so there's not much celebration there. It's like you only feel when it's the loss. Like that's when, that's when there's noise around it. But it's like, you won. Okay, yeah, you were supposed to win.
So you have your golds up, but your silvers are...
I actually don't have any. My parents like have them all.
But that makes me mad, man.
Yeah.
Like fast people do stuff like that. You know what I'm saying?
Man, they could have gave me a Fruit Loop necklace from the Olympics and I'd have put it up.
Channing, I would wear it now. If I had a gold medal, I would wear it on the show.
I don't know where it is.
That isn't true.
Somewhere with my parents.
I don't think that's true.
A gold medal? I'm not fast though.
But you never wear your ring.
Yeah, it's a team.
You got a Super Bowl ring.
It's a team thing. I understand what you're saying in this sense. I remember when we won the Super Bowl, I wasn't happy, I was relieved.
Yeah.
Right, because the entire time we were one of the best teams in the league. Mm-hmm. We were the favorite headed into the Super Bowl. So there was only loss that could matter, right? We won it and I was like, I'm so glad that was over. And then I remember when we lost though, I still think about it to this day. Like there are plays I replay in my mind, like if I could have made that play or if this doesn't happen, all of those things. When You think back to the young lady that ran at 18, though, that won the silver, or even going back that second time. Do you think if you could have told that young lady, hey, look, we're going to be okay, what would have been your way to communicate to her that it was okay in that moment to feel what you felt?
Yeah, I mean, I think if I could have understood that, like the experience would have been better. Like I think I would have been able to enjoy it, because it's like you do, like you're robbed of that joy when you're, you know, so devastated or paralyzed by the failure. So, you know, what I want to teach my kids is like the failure is inevitable. Like you're gonna experience it, but it's like, what can you learn from it? And I was able to like get there later on, because I did learn so many lessons from those moments that didn't go the way that I wanted them to. And so, yeah, it's just like that perspective. But obviously, you know, when you're in the moment, you're not there.
Is there different training when you're the rabbit or the greyhound? Because you've been chasing somebody before, and then you've been the chased. Is there any different approach when you're the number one or the number two?
For me, no. I think it's harder when you have a target on your back. So I think it's all fun and games when like you're, you know, taking names and nobody knows who you are, and, you know, that's great. But then when you're the person where every single race, they get to race you, it's like, okay. But I do think it's, you know, it's essentially you got to do what kept you there. You have to do what you've always done. And I think when you start to like switch things up, then you kind of get in trouble.
In your comeback and your return, how excited are you that the games are in California?
Oh, I mean, I'm born and raised in LA, so that's, if they weren't in LA, I don't think I would be nearly as curious. But yeah, it's everything. I mean, to be able to have, I've never competed on home soil, you know, at the Olympics, so that's everything. So I'm super excited.
You have a podcast that's coming out.
Yeah.
Can you speak to it? Was it Built to Last?
Yeah, it's called Built to Last, and it's really just bringing people on this journey. You know, I think it's been really interesting. There have been a lot of, you know, athletes, not a lot, but there's a select few of athletes who have competed at this age. And I think a lot of people are curious, you know, how that goes, and bringing people into like learning some of the science behind it and really taking them on the journey of like, I don't know how this is going to end up, but I'm excited to like, you know, talk about it.
You see some BTS like on training and
the
whole entire thing?
Yeah, the full thing.
As a male, you get called an OG when you're our age. Do the young runners call you
still
OG?
Old heads, I don't know, auntie.
Oh, your auntie. Because you're going to race against some young ladies
I mean, I could be their mother, literally.
You could be their mother, I was just about to say.
That's pretty crazy.
Do they show you that respect, like when you're with those young girls?
It's funny because like now, you know, I've been away for a couple of years, so, but I have, those relationships were more like mentor relationships, and I've seen a number of them, you know, grow through the sport. So yeah, I've gotten some cool messages, you know, that they're, you know, I'm coming back, and yeah, it's been a lot of love, so.
Auntie about to gun your ass.
So we had Masai on the show.
Oh, I love Masai.
Right,
yeah.
and we were having a conversation with her about like friendships in track.
Yeah.
You know, and we were talking about teammates, and she was basically like, I don't have no friends. Right? Like I'm not out here to make friends. I'm not out here so we can all kumbaya. It ain't gonna be no, we support each other, this women empowerment. She was like, it ain't none of that. Right? She's like, I'm trying to be number one.
Yeah.
You actually seem way too sweet and kind to do that, right? But to be the level of athlete you were, that had to be some sort of dog.
Oh, absolutely.
What's that? What was that switch for you when you knew it was time to get away from, hey, we could be friends, I can be kind, I'm a person that shows love, to right now it's about me and accomplishing my goal?
Oh yeah, to me it's when I step on that track. You know, that's when it's a different element, and yeah, it's just like that's where I know that I'm the expert on the track. Like it's almost like an alter ego type thing, you know? It's just like, this is where it all goes down. So I am, you know, it's funny because like when I was younger, I look back and it was just like such a different mentality. It was like there can only be one. And you really felt that, like that energy of like only one person is going to cross over out of the sport. And, you know, everybody operated like that. But I do feel like there's a shift now where, you know, I want to see like everybody win. Like I want to see, track is such a hard sport where you get 2 weeks in the limelight and, you know, the money is not here, all those things. So like, I want to see you guys make it. So I think, but obviously I'm a lot older to be able to, you know, to see that and want, you know, that for everyone. But as far as mentality, yeah, it's when I step on the track.
How true was it that they called you chicken legs? Is that a true thing?
Yes, it's very true.
How can you even put in perspective that you went from chicken legs to auntie? That's a long time.
That's a long stretch. I think I like auntie better. I'll take that.
Hey, fellas, pivotal moment. I want to ask you guys, when was the last time you had to make your move in a high energy, under pressure situation where you had to stay composed?
I think back to football and playing safety and being in those moments where you knew it was the 2-minute drill and the offense is getting to the line of scrimmage quickly. And like what I would love is just that I had to take everything from around me and just focus on the other 21 people on the field. It didn't matter about the noise. It didn't matter that momentum was on their side. The scoreboard didn't matter. It was all about staying calm in the moment and making sure all the players around us and around me and in my logo and in my colors stayed composed. The way it works is for us, composure is everything.
I'll say in football, it's that composure, it's that stamina, but it's just the high level, no ups and downs, no crash outs, no 1 quarter and a half, 2 quarters, you got to keep that level set. I think that's all the great players I played with, that they would be where they started, they ended. They didn't have no ups and downs.
Yeah, I echo what y'all say, man. It's about the standard, it's about performance. And in those situations, you'll feel some pressure, but being there, having done it before, staying smooth. And for me as a running back, we see the big runs and all the touchdowns and stuff, but you don't see the preparation that goes into it. Like over and over again, the more you rep it, you develop this sense of poise. And eventually, as long as you stay smooth and trust it, big things will happen. And for me, I think that also applies to life and it applies to the pivot. Make your move.
PivotEnergyDrink.com.
No crash, no sugar. 12 functional ingredients. Pivot.
That's a long time to be in the sport. You said too about Los Angeles, right? It being the only thing that could pull you back.
Yeah.
Right? Which I think is an extremely powerful statement to be able to represent when you started track in high school, because that is extremely late.
Yeah.
What was the draw for you? What was the goal in stepping onto the track for the first time?
Honestly, I came out to the team to make friends because I was like new school and didn't know, you know, many people. So literally, it was like my family was like, oh, you know, go for the track team. My brother was going to another school and he's 2 years older than me and he was running and he was doing well. And I typically like followed in his footsteps. So that was my like entry point. But then when I figured it out, I've always been competitive and my family's super competitive. Like they were just like showed no mercy. I didn't let me win in anything. So I love that idea of like, okay, like we get to race and we get to see who's the fastest, like right then and there. That like just, I thrived off that.
I'm gonna be honest. The first time I went to track practice, I thought it was the dumbest thing that ever happened.
We're gonna run and then just run again.
Yeah,
and then just run again. Huh,
and why they warm up so long?
We're gonna run after we run.
Have you ever watched like an elite track practice? Bro, they warm up way longer than they run.
A skips and B skips, C skips, D skips. We can't skip everybody.
You know it.
In your return, how much motivation comes with knowing your kids haven't seen you perform live?
Yeah, I'm excited about it. Like that's a huge motivation as well. You know, to kind of show them this in real time also. Like I was talking to them, well, mainly my daughter, my son, he just turned 2.
Right.
But just about like trying something like and maybe it doesn't work out. And I think it's just like a really important lesson to know of like, yeah, you can still go after it. Like that's an important thing. And yeah, for them to come out to the track and like get to see what like hard work looks like. And I would love, to be in LA and to have them there. That would be, they'll be there either way, but it would be really cool.
How often do you say maybe it doesn't work out?
All the time when I'm thinking about it, because like that's a very real outcome.
So you don't think about putting it in the universe can have a negative end to it?
For me, I don't operate like that. Like, I look at it as like it's an experiment. And so there's 2 outcomes. And it doesn't scare me that it may not work out. It's just like, oh, that's one of the possibilities. But it excites me that it could work out,
But it's you versus the clock before it's you versus the youngsters or the field.
For sure, because it's a different approach, It used to always be more of that, but I feel like nobody's really in my way.
Right.
It's more of like my body and the recovery, like all of those things is more like I know what needs to get done and how to do it, but it's like, okay, can I do it at this stage?
At that level.
Hey, Auntie. I'm playing.
Motherfucker crazy.
As the preparation changed from trying to run at 40 to when you were 20, like
Absolutely.
what's the difference in
that
preparation? Because I was gonna say, 21, man, line up, we ready to go. 28, rubbing the knees, got the Bengay, hot tub, cold tub, all that.
Yeah.
How's the preparation change?
Yeah, I mean, it's something, like you said, I didn't even used to think about, but it's a longer warm up. It's okay, like how can we explore like what are the recovery options? And, do I need to take an extra day of rest? And that becomes much more important. Injury prevention and the cryotherapy, like I need everything that I can get.
Yes.
All options are on the table.
Well, that's how I do to go work out at Planet Fitness.
You see him with kettlebells? He
It.
swings kettlebells over his head now.
Hey, Allyson, I just got to get in suits. You know what I'm saying? We ain't trying to run.
I hear you.
You know what? If I run a 400, it's on the treadmill on 7.5. It's a job.
Tell me, walk incline for 35 minutes. Man, ain't nobody worried
It make my
about
back hurt. Allyson, so in, Athens and Beijing, right? Those were losses for you in the 200. What were the lessons you took away from those events?
Yeah, I mean, specifically that second Olympics, it was like, I just looked at everything I was doing and figured out like, how can I even get like 1% better? So everything from the philosophy around my training, I went back to like a more sprint specific training, my nutrition, my strength program, like everything. And then I think there was also this shift of being so focused on the medals and the outcome and just having more purpose of like, okay, it's more than just like running fast. Like there's something more here, and having just like that shift. I remember going into that third Olympics after those 2 losses and just like having a sense of peace because I felt like I had exhausted everything. Yeah. Like, at this point, if it doesn't happen, it just like wasn't meant to happen because there's nothing left. I felt very confident that there's nothing more I could have done.
This is probably a crazy question. Most of us, the way you keep running, you might run until you're 60, so you might not be retired as long as you were competing. How fulfilling, though, has it been to build some of the things you have been able to build with Wes?
Yeah.
Just agencies, the shoe company, just to be able, you walked into a stadium with your own gear on.
Yeah.
Like that's crazy. Like that's when people say shut up and dribble or shut up and run, whatever it is, shut up and tackle, like you've defied that in so many ways.
Yeah.
How fulfilling has it been to be able to build a second career that's truly impacting lives?
Yeah, it's the best. To be able to build companies with my brother, and it's hard, Sage, our shoe company, it's really challenging to be in that industry. But getting to do it with somebody that I love is incredible. Making, these shoes they're made for women, and the big brands aren't doing that. And so we're creating something that doesn't exist in the world. And, you know, with our agency, again, we represent only female athletes. And so we're betting the house on female athletes and saying we should be doing things differently. And it's really cool to see, like, we're from South LA. Like, we didn't grow up seeing, you know, people that we know start companies. And so just to say, like, yeah, it's really scary, it's hard. We go in rooms that we know we're not welcome or we don't look like anybody else, but we're out here doing it. And I love that I've been able to evolve from, you know, just starting on the track to having impact in the world.
Do you think you was crazy when you pulled that PowerPoint out to try to tell him you was finna run?
He was so confused. He's like, run what? Run where? Like, what?
Run to the store?
Yeah.
Is it changing for female? Because the WNBA just had the new CBA.
Yeah.
We had Brianna on.
Yeah.
You know, we've talked to a number of ladies. Is female sports really changing, or are they just showing us the positive?
I think it's changing. I think that we have to meet the moment, you know, to sustain this. And we have to invest in in all of the ecosystem in order for it to last. So I think we're seeing the world take notice, but if we want this to stay, you know, we all have to contribute and rise and make it last. So it's a really exciting time now.
How do you feel about it? It's something we asked Brianna. I just brought her name up. About the competition. We had Jordan versus Bird. We had Jordan, LeBron. We have all that. It seems like they don't want to put women in a situation where it's Angel Reese, Caitlin Clark. I think that's where sports are created, on competition. Like, and they act like y'all are these little delicate flowers. Like, no.
Yeah.
Whoop her ass, let's go and see who's the fastest. Like, do you think there should be more of that in female sports?
Yeah. I mean, I think it's maybe the newer fan that is like less inclined to that, but that's what sports is, right? Like, just because we're women, it's no different. Like, it's dogs out here too, and we want to see the same thing. And I think it's never really the athlete who is saying that, you know? It's really the outside voices where you're hearing like the chatter, but like most everybody want to be against the best. I know, I always
Who was yours?
Veronica Campbell from Jamaica. Like, when we raced each other, I knew that, you know, like, I got to be ready to go. And we had some great, like, back and forth. But it was always just, like, so much respect also, because I know what she does and what she brings to the table. And so I would get excited for those races. Yeah.
You never have no beef though. You seem so nice.
Back on the beef.
She even said that. Like, even when you asked me, she was like, but there was so much respect. Like,
She ain't never get close to that line and throw that elbow a little bit.
Just so nice.
That was too crazy. But no, you were amazing. You're a superstar out there. And now, you know, in your attempt to return, motherhood, got podcasts coming, the shoes, the agency. Like, how do you find time to be that super mom?
I mean, it's my most important role. And so probably like everybody else, you know, as a parent, you know, you figure it out. And my favorite times are like drop off and pick up from school, like going to my daughter, she's playing baseball, and, you know, showing up at the games. And it's just, that's who I am. And so everything else like is secondary to that. And, you know, the minute that she has her dance recital, you know, it's on the calendar and I'm gonna be there, and we'll, you know, rearrange some things. But I also think it's important for her to see me do all these things, you know, and it's a family affair, and we look at it as a team effort, and, you know, we help each other and we figure it out. And yeah.
What about Ferg? He can still jump, he can still run hurdles, that Gamecock?
He's kind of the one who pushed me back too, because he was getting into like some masters track, and so I was out there doing some workouts with him, and I was looking at the clock and I was like, oh, okay, like he can still move a little bit, so he inspires me. Yeah, he ran the 400 hurdles.
Oh,
yeah,
that's too far.
Hell no.
That's too far. If he got a 14, he got a 14.57 on the 110. Tell him holler at me.
Yeah, just a little bit.
How difficult is it to start to even think about another pregnancy after going through what you went through with your daughter?
It was terrifying. You know, I knew I wanted another child after my daughter, but I just felt like I'm probably going to end up in the same situation. And It was really hard. We did IVF with my son, and I remember I wanted like a whole different experience, and so I was like, I get the doula, the midwife, and I was so educated. I had all the pieces, but I remember a couple months before, like updating my will and just like making sure that everything was in line and having conversations with my husband about, okay, if this does go this way, because that's the reality for Black women. Like that is something, we don't get to have that joy that everybody gets to have in pregnancy. And so that was my reality, and so blessed that that wasn't the situation, but we were prepared, that could be it.
That's such a scary thing. How important was the support of your husband to be able to have those conversations? Because I would have to imagine it's such a helpless feeling to watch the person you're expecting to grow old with go through what you went through.
Yeah.
And you're obviously excited to have a beautiful little girl that showed how much of a fighter she was.
Yeah.
But in attempting to have Trey, it's a conversation that you both have to be comfortable with, because it's not one of those things we're going to sacrifice a life for a life. What were some of those conversations like between the two of you?
I mean, it was really interesting because I think after having my daughter and what we went through, we focused on my trauma so much. And there came to a place where, I was like, oh, you had a whole different perspective, and I remember there was a point that I couldn't make decisions. He was the one who had to call my family, who had to, make some big calls in the whole thing, and thinking about like, even going home from the hospital, and you have to, at one point, your wife is in the hospital and your child, like who thinks of that? And so, yeah, we talked about, what that was like, and, is this something we're willing to possibly go through again and take on? But it's so important also to have that support, because I could be fully confident that also just that I know that if I wasn't here, my kids have an incredible father. And I just learned like a new depth of love for him when I saw him in that situation, because we had never dealt with trauma like that. And I just could be so confident that my kids would live an amazing life because they have a father who does all the things and who shows up for them and loves them. And so I think that made me feel like, okay, like this is something we want to grow our family, and I think we should try.
Allyson, what's been your biggest pivot in life? Like that's that one moment you can look back on and say, because this happened to me or for me, I am who I am today.
Yeah. I think it was when I was finding my voice. I've been such an athlete that I had my head down, and I was literally scared to have an opinion on anything. I felt like I wanted to fit into this like perfect image and be this perfect partner for people to work with. And then, the Nike situation happens and I'm offered 70% less. And, I have this traumatic birth experience. And it was like all of these real life things brought me to understanding like my voice has power and I can speak on things. And that has opened, a whole new world of possibilities for me.
This month is always important to us because it's Mental Health Awareness Month. And we try to talk to people who have not only seen adversity, but persevered through it, which obviously you had. It's also the month we celebrate mothers.
Yeah.
Right, so it's just perfect. We got an opportunity to be with you. What does Mother's Day mean to you, though, to have gone through what you've gone through and get to celebrate it not only with two beautiful children, but with a man who went through that with you as well?
Yeah, a whole new appreciation, for even my own mother, for the strong women in my family. And then, to be able to celebrate with my family and know that we're complete, like we're healthy and we're together. There are some moments that I wasn't sure, we'd get there. So I celebrate now with just so much joy.
I know you said your daughter asked, can she get out there and run with you? Are you gonna let her do a little bit of training
I'm trying to keep her away as long as I can. We're doing all the other sports. So that, if she wants to, anybody who's gonna race me, I'm gonna let her have it. She's gonna.
Allyson, you do know that your daughter's gonna get that forever, right? Like no matter where she pops up, when they see her mama name, they're gonna be like, I know she fast.
Who your mama again?
Yeah, like
we weren't even that good, and they do that.
Yeah.
They are going to expect that from you. I mean, honestly, I think I can speak for myself. Been inspired by your accomplishments throughout getting a chance to watch your career, and am so excited to watch this part of your journey. I think my last question, I know you need to go, would be, in a sport that is focused on the finish line, how important was it for you to finally learn to enjoy the journey?
I think it's everything. Like, I think it's full circle. I think it's just so important at this phase of my life. I feel like I really struggled with retirement. Like, I struggled with, like, who am I away from the sport? And I did so much work to get to this place that I am grateful. Like, I look at this as a gift to myself, like, to be able to, I was gonna do this, like, just for me, and decided to share it also, but it's a privilege, like, it's fun, like, to get to go see what's possible, and I'm excited to, like, pull people in. I think a lot of people are at that place too, where it's like, is there more? I think there's more, so, yeah.
Well, listen, for all the OGs and the aunties, we appreciate you. We not finna be out there though. So
I'll be the one. I'll be the one.
I know TT better send me some shoes.
Best of luck.
Thank you guys. I appreciate it.
I appreciate you. That was awesome.
Appreciate you guys. Appreciate you.
Nah, thank you, love.
Appreciate you. I would love to.
He used to travel.
Hold up, limitless. Take a stomach, got pinning it. I fought the head to witness it. Got my people feeling militant. Way I'm feeling got me up. On the mission got me up. Knowing me, I got the key. On the vision I can trust. Limitless. Take a stomach, got pinning it. I fought the head to witness it. Got my people feeling militant. Way I'm feeling.